Aaron doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Wind. That's right, the howling wind. It's freaking cold out. It's bad enough to lose to Buffalo, but you don't need Buffalo weather here. Let's get it back to Duval, please. Let's crank up the heat. Bill in Denmark tells me it's going to be nice on Saturday, but apparently get prepared for it again tomorrow and Friday. I do not hop on the Doppler. I got people who tell me about the weather, and we'll just leave it at that. But my gosh, it was frigid today. I'm getting soft. I've always been soft. And that is certainly evident with the way that I am reacting. Still in shorts, though. Okay, this is Florida. I'm a shorts guy. No flip-flops, however. Socks and sneaks. Do they still call them sneaks, or do they call them kicks? What are they nowadays? I need to get into the younger lingo.
It's not sneaks. Kids don't even wear shoes. They just wear Crocs and, like, slippers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got to get caught up with that.
Pajamas to school. Yeah, that's the new thing.
So many words have changed. Like where I come from, we call dinner supper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a supper club here in Duval.
No.
Right? And, so I learned years ago that I can no longer make that claim. Of course, the name of the show was Into the Night. There are some up there in the yuppie terminology who refuse to use the word night. Instead, they will only use the word evening. Those are wine sippers, ladies and gentlemen. Listeners here love their wine. They also love the guzzle beer. And you probably did a whole heck of a lot of that this weekend. And you know what? You must feel better about today. It was the season-ending getaway presser, and what a difference a year makes. Okay? Long-winded answers. Liam Coen, who wears it right there smack dab in the middle of his chest. You got the zen that continues to be in the making of James Gladstone, who's just a lot of fun to listen to him talk. There's like certain people in the world that, for instance, Jesse the Body Ventura. And, the political stuff, I can take and kind of leave it. But I remember when he was the color analyst with Gene Deckerhoff for a couple of years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, let me tell you something, Gene. It's a defensive lineman's dream to pick up a loose ball and take it back for a touchdown. And he was one of the greatest ever with the mic in wrestling. There are certain people out there, whether they're actors, whether they are political, whether they are entertainers, and in this case, sports figures who just dominate the room, not only with their vocabulary and, voice inflection, but the way that they are able to, put it out in syllables to make you really think, what did he just say? There's been a lot of talk this week about Q&A, reporter to whoever's involved in the press conference. You always get your answer, and then you're immediately thinking, what are you going to ask next? There are times with James Gladstone when I'm thinking about what is the next question, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to stop a little bit. What did he just really say? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It was a totally different vibe at the Miller Electric Center. Of course, last year it was on Zoom. Last year at this time, Shad Khan was on Zoom. Trent Baalke was on Zoom. Doug Peterson had been fired. And, I just thought it was awful. I wasn't allowed to ask a question. I thought it was Bush League. And you look at just how much things have improved in 1 year. Okay? Who didn't enjoy listening to what this year was all about? And more importantly, where are they going to make changes to make this a better product and a better franchise in 2026. I don't think that you could have listened to this in its entirety today and not come out of it believing that this is going to be a better football team. And that's been my stance all year long. I'm still really surprised they went 13-4. I had them going 10-7. I believed since day one that next year they would be better, and I certainly believe that after today's presser. But it was cool. I mean, they just took on question after question and answered it. They weren't in a hurry. There wasn't a cloud over the Miller Electric Center. I mean, these press conferences during the Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson era, they were cold. They were forced. It was anything but enjoyable, not to mention the team totally sucked. But this was different, and different being good, perhaps very good. Jaguar fans, you have to be excited. I would imagine, I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm just speaking on it, that I have to imagine that you're very excited about what you did here a little bit earlier this afternoon. Okay, so it's great to have you with us. We're with you tonight till 8 o'clock. I'm really going to begin the program by, telling you what I got out of this press conference today. I got a great deal out of it, and I think it begins perhaps with the biggest unknown of all, and that is finally, comments from the general manager on Travis Hunter. That has been a secret. A day doesn't go by, or if so, 2 days don't go by where I don't hear from you on social media. Where's Travis Hunter? How come we're not hearing anything about him? How come no one is interviewing him? Why isn't he on the sidelines during the game? Well, it's for a variety of reasons. Number one, he's got a lower body injury. He's not going to be on the sideline. He's in the booth. Number two, it's by design. When you visit the locker room, whether it's after a game or midweek, he's not around. Travis Hunter's not going to do any interviews right now. He played 6.5 ball games, and his season was shut down. All right? There's really no reason at all that this organization needs to pedal him out to start answering a bunch of questions that, frankly, he doesn't have an answer to at this particular point. Like, how are you feeling? How's the rehab going? Are you 100%? Do you want to play offense? Do you want to play defense? What's it like to watch? It's just, you're really not going to get anything out of it. But today, James Gladstone spoke on it. And the rehab, and this includes Caleb Ransaw as well, is right where you want it. So let's begin with that. It's encouraging. Those are two rookies right there. They got next to nothing out of. And I say that with respect to Travis Hunter. I mean, him giving you 342 plays on offense was pretty solid. 162 on defense, maybe not enough. And what came out of today's presser is he's still going to play both ways. Okay? Now, again, in a clever way of saying this, and I'd like to find the direct quote from James Gladstone. He went on to talk about expiring contracts on the defensive side of the football, which obviously does include cornerback. And by default, you can almost come out and say that there is, quote, a higher emphasis on defensive back. Again, he said it in a very intriguing way. Here's the comment right now. He was asked about Hunter playing both ways. He goes on and says, quote, we still expect him to play on both sides of the ball. Obviously, you can take a peek at the expiring contracts in our roster and which side of the ball has more. Obviously, at this point, walking into the offseason, corner is a position that we have a few guys who are on expiring contracts. By default, you can expect there are to be a higher emphasis on his placement. Okay? Going to be more involved in the secondary. I keep looking at team needs. Right now, it's simple for me. The biggest team need that this organization has is an upgrade in the interior defensive line. From the desk of Daniel Griffiths, he gave us some really intriguing numbers today. You realize in the last 5 games, the Jaguars' interior pressure resulted in 0 sacks. Now, you had the Eric Armstead injury. They also had only 12 pressures from the interior defensive line in the last 5 games. That was ranked 32nd in the NFL. Mason Smith is, who knows? I mean, who knows? Eric Armstead, can you get him healthy? He played well for the first 14 weeks until the injury did occur. So, again, it just does make you wonder. I think that's their biggest need. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But, back to Travis Hunter, you don't have to make a decision today. Just because people want it, just because people want to know, and I'm not saying so much the local Jaguar fans. I'm talking about those who want to be able to prove their point, right? National mouthpieces who went nuts, where they gave up too much to make a trade for Hunter. I still don't agree with that. Okay? Some will say that's crazy. And again, pick a side, offense, defense. And just remember the stupidity that goes along with a lot of these comments. And they're based on having an agenda. And your agenda being, you don't think this guy can play in this league on both sides of the football. They may eventually be correct. They're not right now. Yet some of these people will come out and see, I told you so. I told you so. Travis Hunter can't deal with the bumps and bruises of the NFL. Travis Hunter can't deal with the wear and tear of the NFL. It's because they don't do their homework. They don't do their research. Jacksonville continues to be an inconvenience. You, as great Jaguars fans, know that he hurt himself in a non-contact situation, which was a freak injury. I mean, the same thing happened to Dante Fowler, 10, 12 years ago. This stuff can happen at any time, any place. It's wrong. And people do spit out wrong information. So I took that as pretty refreshing today. The rehab is going well for Travis Hunter. All right. I got way more to do. This was informative today. Again, you got a lot, and then some other things, particularly from Gladstone, got you thinking a little bit. I'll say this as we head to our first break. Something I got today, in my opinion, that I didn't have before the press conference, Devin Lloyd's played his final game in Duval. I got that out of today's press conference. Other reporters may have not. Again, I did. And I'm going to tell you about that and everything else that I did get from what I thought was very efficient today from both Coen and Gladstone. I mean, this is an exciting time. March 11th is free agency, 99 days away from the NFL draft. You have the combine coming up. You have expired contracts. You got to decide whether or not to bring them back. You must find a way to create cash, and you have to be creative there. Do you restructure aging players and contracts? Do you flat out show them the door? I think there's a real chance that happens to a couple of these players. You can also perhaps make a trade. Another great part of what you have here now during the James Gladstone era is that when you call the other 31 general managers, at least they're going to answer the phone. Back in my day, if you were trying to get a date, step number 1 was to get the lady to answer the phone. I know that doesn't apply for today's kids. You can send off a wicked cool text with an emoji, and then hopefully that'll do the trick. Well, under Trent Baalke, half the general managers would be like, Baalke? Oh, my God, this is a spam call, and not take it, all right? That has changed under this direction. I tell you what else has changed. A lot of people getting to me about Dr. Shmunez and the drinking game that goes on. Whenever I say Shmunez vision, man, that's flattering. That's unbelievable, okay? And they deserve it because they do such a great job. And they're looking out for you. I know the folks on YouTube have a good time with this as well, but it's a really kind of an inner group, dare I say a higher up group that is a part of this drinking game, or at least so I'm told. But let's get to some seriousness here. It's pitch dark out. Your eyes are fatigued, right? Not nearly as strong as they were when you got up this morning. Make yourself an appointment. Get an examination. Get your eyes checked. Get a new prescription. Then start firing away. Inquire about laser eye surgery. You may be concerned that you got something going on that is bothering you. It could be cataract surgery related. Heck, there's a lot of false information being passed around about cataract surgery. Right? Sit down with the very best over there at Shmunez. They'll explain everything to you. There's also other remedies for cataract that do not involve surgery. 37 years worth of experience. Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt. Check them out online or go to Instagram and get all of the testimonials at Shmunez Vision. All right, I'm fired up for this show. I don't think I've ever been so excited about a Jaguar show 3 days after their season ended. It's the truth. It's where this franchise is, and it's where I believe this franchise is going to go. We'll take a look at everything that happened today. It is my pleasure to have you with us. We call it Into the Night.
It's the secret sauce of a successful football team.
This is a special group of men.
Each week, Superior Plumbing spotlights the special teams player of the game.
It was complete domination in all three phases.
That's how you win football games.
On 1010XL.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The music icon is back on tour. September 22nd and 23rd, St. Augustine Amphitheater. The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor and a night full of his biggest hits. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at AXS.com. Spend the night with a friend. James Taylor.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
From the tee to the green and everywhere in between. Join Dan, Jeff, and PGA pros for Brunch with the Tour. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation, Tuesday morning at 8:30 on Jacksonville's Golf Station, 1010XL.
It may be winter in Northeast Florida, but it's one of the most important times to protect your lawn. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. Their winterizer strengthens roots and improves cold tolerance. Pre-emergent treatments stop spring weeds before they ever start. What that means is you set the stage for a thicker, greener lawn when spring arrives. Call today to schedule your winter lawn treatment with Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Are you searching for a career in the HVAC industry? Florida Home AC is looking for an A-team, full-time positions for qualified individuals to train for HVAC service technicians, install mechanics, and sales consultants. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and click on careers to find out more. We're talking great compensation, a 5-day work week, no downtime in the off-season, and a company-provided vehicle. Check it all out at FloridaHomeAC.com/career. That's FloridaHomeAC.com/career. Equal opportunity employer.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Hey, folks, it's Frank Frangie. All those festive holiday feasts probably have added a few extra pounds, but here's the thing. You can make this the year you finally lose the weight safely and for good. Now, you know by now my daughter Amber kicked off the journey with Awaken 180 weight loss back in the summer. You ready for this? She's lost 100 pounds in 6 months. Man, is she proud of that. 100 pounds. And she really did it with this really, really good plan. There's no shots, no medications, no supplements, just real food and a proven plan. That's right. With Awaken 180, you can still enjoy your favorite food and drink. No more yo-yo diets or feeling deprived. The structured program empowers you to control your eating without hunger. It really is doable. Don't just resolve to make the change. Make the change. Call Awaken 180 today and take that first small step. Book your consultation now, 1-844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com. It worked for Amber. It really did. And it can work for you. Awaken 180 weight loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, James Gladstone, Liam Coen met the media a little bit earlier this afternoon. Actually, it was early in the morning. It was at 10 a.m. Man, that's real early. And let's get to this by James Gladstone. Let's play number one. I thought this was important. I will tell you that tonight's show is brought to you by the good folks at Alexander Law Practice. I'll get there in just a couple of minutes, but let's get to Gladstone today. This was his initial answer about how the season aligns with the Jaguars' long-term goals.
The desired result obviously wasn't there, but there's a lot of pride in the process. I think you talk about reflection, and that's an ongoing piece to the puzzle. It's never ending, and obviously we were doing that along the way. We're doing it moving forward, but as I think back to where we were this time last year, Liam was probably just embarking on the interview process. I wasn't even considering it as an option. There were plenty of people in Jacksonville that had never heard my name, and I think the fact that we got a longer runway right here is going to be a luxury, right? And as we think about what myself, Liam, Tony were able to do with a vision and be able to execute that, raising the floor of the football team, knowing that when you think back to 2024, there was plenty of talent to keep, close games. But we needed to raise the floor and inject intangibles into the football team so that we could close games. And to be able to see that come to fruition is certainly something that we can take some pride in, and being able to talk through and engineer what this football team looks like moving forward and where our points of emphasis need to be is certainly something we're having those early discussions around, and need to continue to dive deeper into what that actually looks like.
And he goes on and on and on. It's great. It really is. Now, let me state this before I get to what I got out of today's press conference. And I already gave you one on the Travis Hunter. I also will certainly expand on my opinion that it's over for Devin Lloyd. I don't think they're going to overpay for a linebacker. I don't see it. They're strapped right now, financially speaking. And they have some guys that they got to get done. You got to get Trayvon Walker done. You got to get Parker Washington done. I believe you have to get Buster Brown done. I believe you have to get Antonio Johnson done. Anton Harrison is coming up on the final year of his contract. What are you going to do there? It just goes on and on and on and on. And to credit Lloyd, he had such a good year, right? He was 11th against the run, according to Pro Football Focus. He had 5 picks. He had 25 pressures as a blitzer. Also had a fumble recovery on Sunday on kick coverage. He covered 87 kicks. Not a lot of multi-million-dollar all-pro linebackers who are on special teams. And that's exactly what Devin Lloyd was. But before I continue with that, let me be crystal clear. This is the two most important aspects of what this football team has done to the entire environment that involves the Jaguars. Everyone in the Miller Electric Center, coaching staff, medical staff, research staff, the players, and you as the fans, okay? Number one, this team developed talent. This team took already existing players and made them better. Parker Washington became that much better. Brenton Strange became better. Where in the heck did they find Cole Van Lanen and get him to advance in the way that he did? If you include the jumbo package, he played 5 of the 6 different offensive line positions. Absolutely magnificent. Travis Etienne. You know what Travis Etienne improved on mightily? Pass protection. Last year, it's according to Daniel Griffiths, okay? I always give credit to where I get information. Last year, Etienne in pass protect, he was 54th out of 55, okay? He allowed 13 pressures. This year, he was number 6 out of 72. He allowed only 4 pressures. How much did we get into that? How much did we talk about that during camp? And we kept hearing that LaQuint Allen Jr. and Bayshell Tootin are what? Every down backs. Not only can they run the football, they have incredible hands, and they're both really good in pass protect. Keep getting the mention of how Jacoby Myers, okay, made other wide receivers around him better when it came to route running, when it came to toughness, when it came to blocking downfield. I would also like to think that just the addition of those 2 rookies rededicated Etienne with that aspect of his game. He had a sensational camp, went on to have another very good year. Now that I got that Lloyd is not going to return, just my opinion, maybe they do open the door here for Travis Etienne. I wouldn't overpay for a back, especially one who's going to be 27. The position isn't worth the money, if that makes any sense, unless you're beyond special. And I know he had a ton of touchdowns this year. I wouldn't mind a 1-year franchise tag. To me, that sounds great, but to him, that's probably the worst possible scenario that you can have. Look what happened on the defense. Look how much better Buster Brown got. Look how much better Antonio Johnson got as far as being able to go out and develop players, okay? This coaching staff did that. Last year's coaching staff wouldn't have been able to do that. There's other guys on the roster that we haven't even talked about that you now hope will be able to do the same thing this year. That's get better. We don't talk traditionally, I think, an awful lot about developing players in the NFL. I think your draft status explains a great deal there. I know back in the ways of college football before today's mess, when you would bring in a freshman class and redshirt them, the college game, you were always talking about developing. You could see a real noticeable difference between them as a freshman or a redshirt freshman till when they became, a junior or a senior. Of course, development always happens in the NFL. I just don't think it gets as mentioned as much outside of really obvious positions, maybe a quarterback, maybe a left tackle. I may be wrong. I'm just expressing with you what I feel. So that's the number one part of this that should totally fire you up. Number 2, the confidence factor in Trevor Lawrence. Look at where he was a year ago. Look at the disaster of being injured, of having Press Taylor call plays, having Doug Peterson check out. You as a fan base did not know if he is the guy. Look at him now, okay? And maybe your lasting image is the pick on Sunday, his final pass attempt. If that's the way you are, fine. Not going to try to change your mind. He's a better football player. He's a better quarterback. And whether you lose Grant Udinski or not, you still have Liam Coen. You're going to have the majority of your position coaches who are going to return. Trevor Lawrence, confidence-wise now, is going to begin the offseason and begin 2026, I have to believe, totally headstrong compared to where he was a year ago. My thought on it. You can share yours with us as well at 641-1010, and that is our text line. You can also dive on in on YouTube. Go to 1010XL into the night. All right, I'll continue with what I got out of today's press conference here on the other side. This is going to be, for the most part, everything we do tonight. John Osher's going to check in 30 minutes. We'll get his opinion on what did happen. But this was a deal where, and I'm trying to think historically speaking throughout the years and the decades, how many times did you get out of press conferences like this thinking, well, I have you have the number one pick. Well, you have a higher up first round pick. Okay. This organization doesn't have a first round pick. And I feel like they're going to be all right regardless. There's a lot of positivity. There's some things that need to be fixed clearly, but there's a lot of positivity going on as the offseason does begin for the Jaguars. All right, I've known Rick Alexander for quite some time. He is with the Alexander Law Practice. If you have been personally injured in a vehicle accident, okay, he is the guy that you need to get up with. You're talking about more than 30 years worth of experience. He's been rated AV since 2004 by Martindale and Hubble. It's the gold standard for peer review ratings, but it's so much more than that, okay? He gets directly involved with everyone who is injured. These big firms, sure, they're fine, no doubt about it, but you don't get an opportunity to really sit down with the top dog, with the guy who built the company. Not the way that it works here with Rick Alexander in his practice. He is involved in every single one of his cases. So if this applies to you and you're physically injured, okay, your car is damaged, maybe even totaled, these are the type of questions you need to ask Rick Alexander. For starters, you're going to get an immediate callback, 400-6600. Then they're going to put together a package that is right for you, okay? The individual care that you deserve. So these are the type of questions that you need to ask, and I'm sure there's so many more that you do have. The best way to go is Alexander Law Practice online, or again, make the phone call, 400-6600. It is always a free consultation. And remember, I talked about getting a rental car or a car in the time being, or seeing a doctor or a physical therapist. You never come out of pocket, okay? Everything will be settled at the very end of the case, but you are never out of pocket. So go to Alexander Law Practice. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And, I'm just looking. I've popped on here for the first time, man. And look at the text line. This is awesome. And I expect this. It's a nightly event. And it always fires me up. But there is question after question after question rolling in. Every question is a good question on Into the Night. Let's begin to dive into some of your thoughts. I also want to give you much more as to what I got out of today's press conference. Along with Dylan Denmark, I'm Rick Ballou.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
It's January in Jacksonville, so you turn on the shower knob expecting hot water. Comes up cold. That's a tough loss to start the day, but Duck Duck Rooter is here to turn things around with the new year, new water heater promotion. Duck Duck Rooter makes replacing that old water heater a winning play. Right now, get a new water heater installed for just $14.99 on select models with standard installation. Call now to schedule your free estimate and take the cold shower off the scoreboard. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
You like winning? This is former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus, and I'm excited to introduce you to J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling of Greater Jacksonville. If you're a property manager, contractor, builder, realtor, or homeowner, get that feeling of success with less stress. I've used them. My friends have used them. So get your free junk removal and hauling estimate today. Now, I call that a win. Veteran-owned and operated J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256. We haul it all.
Hey, poker fans, it's a new year, and a new tournament series is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville. The 2026 Best Bet Blizzard on the Beach Poker Series runs from February 5th through the 16th. The event features 10 tournaments, $600,000 in guarantees, live-streamed events on Best Bet Live, and the $1,700 Mystery Bounty main event. Win your way in with satellites starting this month. Get all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 14th, 1951, the NFL held its very first Pro Bowl in the LA Coliseum, where Otto Graham was named the MVP.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret: Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a slip and slide gone wrong? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Rick Ballou for Coen Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coen Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coen Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coen Dental, with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coen Dental, located in Bartram Park.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
A new year is the perfect time to finally get organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. Start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Anthony Campanile will join Grant Udinski with interviews. Of course, Udinski, it was announced yesterday, will get an opportunity to talk to the Cleveland brass. In Miami, it's a little bit more concerning. Anthony Campanile, the new general manager, is John Eric Sullivan, who comes over from Green Bay. Of course, a year ago, Anthony Campanile was the linebackers coach in Green Bay. So there's a knowledge there. Okay. I still think it's a year away. I do. And Liam Coen talked about that a little bit earlier today, about how he sees both of these coordinators eventually becoming head coaches. I think I agree with that 100%, but there is going to be, I believe, at least one more year for Grant Udinski, maybe 2 or 3. But with Campanile, if he continues to play this way, we shall see. And again, I've already said I don't think Devin Lloyd is going to come back. Devin Lloyd, if you go to Spot Track, they have him estimated at 3 years, $60.4 million, an average salary of $20.14 a year. I just don't know if they can afford to pay $20 million for a linebacker. And I know it's convenient to say he had really only one good year. Well, that's all that matters, because under this new defensive scheme and under this new franchise, or the changes within the franchise, you have to base it on what he has done. I would love it. If I could re-sign one guy without hesitation, it's Devin Lloyd. I just don't think they're going to be able to get this done financially. You agree, disagree on this? You think they'll cut some players, create a little bit more cash, and be able to get this done?
Yeah, Lloyd and Etienne, I think, are the top two that you have to make the decision. One of those guys is definitely going to leave, if not both. If I had to pick one that's probably going to leave, I'd say Devin Lloyd as well.
Yeah.
It just feels like linebacker is a lot like running back, where that position is just kind of like a conveyor belt. Just guys come in and out, and it's not the traditional way. Running back used to be the traditional way. Linebacker used to be the traditional way. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I got that today. 2155 says, below the show, yada, yada. You're saying that all the same positive things that we heard about Trevor in 2022, and his stats were better that season when Peterson was supposedly mentoring him. He will regress next year. Tougher schedule. The message won't be new anymore. That's fine as far as your opinion. I don't believe so. I think they're going to be a better football team next year. I think they're going to have a better offensive line next year. I think you're going to have another year of Jacoby Myers in this system. I think you're going to have another year of Trevor Lawrence with this offense, which took a while to get rolling. Okay? There were missteps. There were, I don't know if there were a lot of problems schematically speaking, but it was out of sorts early on. I mean, look at all the offensive penalties. Look at all the false starts. Look at everything that happened early on. And I know it's tough to say when you ended up being 6th overall in scoring offense. I know that's hard to say when you were 5th overall in total touchdowns. But it still went on and on and on, where it felt like the ability is there to get more. So last year at this time, I was really down. I remember talking about my confidence rating, and I was like a smidge, like 50.5% yes, 49.5% no, right? And I forever said you shouldn't assign Trevor Lawrence to that long-term contract decision. Guess I was right for a while. Am I still right now? Am I still right now after what he did? Is it a bargain at $45 million a year? Considering where he can go. Some good stuff there. Okay. Brian Thomas Jr., a huge part of things moving forward. I got that out of the press conference today. Again, daily I get trade Brian Thomas Jr. You have to understand this football-wise, okay? Unless there is a glaring issue. And if there is, I don't believe it would have been spoken on today. Okay. But unless there's an issue that something's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, and if so, then yeah, okay, you move the guy. He wasn't their draft pick. That was the former organization. But if that's not the case, you're getting ready for year 3 under a rookie contract. Okay, so he's incredibly affordable. And number 2, you're not going to get anything close to his value. What is Brian Thomas Jr. going to fetch right now after a season in which he had a lot of drops? At times he was scared. At times you could question his effort. What is he going? Now all it takes is one coach, one general manager to say, well, let's bring him over here and watch what happens. Okay. And what I mean by a problem, maybe he doesn't like playing with Trevor Lawrence. Maybe there's some personal issues going on with him that we don't know about. I'm not aware of any of this. Okay. But if he's traded, I think something like that is the reason. Not that he had a down year. He is still a big part of this plan. And another thing that James Gladstone said today, and I love that he said it because, well, frankly, I've been saying it forever. This team doesn't have a true number one. You shut someone down, someone else will step up. He said 3 guys today, more than 700 yards receiving. Okay, he's including Jacoby Myers and what he did with the Raiders. But, you know, if you were to look at the projection, Myers had, I think it was 483 yards in 8 games. He certainly would have been over 700 yards if, in fact, he played the entire season here. And then Thomas went over 700. And, of course, Parker Washington led the team in receiving, I think the last either 3 or 4 games was over 850 yards receiving. They don't have a true number one. And you bring back Travis Hunter and make him a part of that. So, no, my opinion is nothing is going to happen to Brian Thomas Jr. The other part of this, and I wonder if there's a little bit of gamemanship involved, is he said that everyone who played for us on the offensive line is coming back. And he made a point to do that. He made a point to really emphasize that. If you remember the initial press conference with James Gladstone, in the initial, I'm talking about when they were introduced as head coach and general manager, about a month apart, they both went overboard, stressing the importance of the offensive line. This was a crazy year. As soon as one guy got healthy, someone else went down. And I have to believe, and I don't have numbers to support this, but I got to believe that you look at the starts and the way things changed along that offensive line, that has to be right up there with the most that happened this year in the NFL. All of a sudden, you look around now, and it's like you've got more questions than answers. Are you going to cut Walker Little? Are you going to try to trade Walker Little? That make a lot of sense to do either of the two. A trade would be more promising. It would be more affordable. You can't say goodbye to him until after June 1st, which means what? Free agency is completed. The NFL draft is completed. Ezra Cleveland played well. He's got a year remaining. Is that Wyatt Milam's job? Does Wyatt Milam go to Patrick McCarry's position? Gladstone today said McCarry, that situation with his injury is not long-term. McCarry got paid. He got paid big money. Average at best, in my opinion. Is Anton Harrison the left tackle? Do you move him after 3 years from right tackle to left tackle? Or he only allowed 1 sack all season. Do you keep him on the right side and then try to figure out left tackle later? You just paid Cole Van Lannon $51 million. He's going to be a starter on that offensive line. He's not going to be a swing tackle, a swing offensive lineman at that rate. He's a starter. I think Wyatt Milam is a starter. And you can make a case for left guard, right guard. You can even mention left tackle. I would put him 4th right now at left tackle. Right now, my order is Cole Van Lannon, Walker Little, Anton Harrison, Wyatt Milam. All right? Little's money forces that move. And then you have Robert Hainsey, who played well, right? But he's a veteran, and they have Jonah Monheim. Okay, I'm not saying just flat out cut him. I would have to look at dead cap money on situations with Macari and Hainsey. But is Jonah Monheim part of the future? If so, maybe they wait one more year. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all if you saw by 2027 the year offensive line is Cole Van Lanen, Wyatt Milam, and Jonah Monheim, left to right. Okay, those three positions. Right side, maybe totally new. Hopefully it's still Anton Harrison. They get him done. You got to re-sign him. But I don't think as many changes are coming. And again, that's a position where you have opportunities, where you can restructure contracts, create cash, trade, or just flat out cut, even though you're going to have to eat dead money. There are some options there. And, other position groups, there are not. I mean, you go to running back, you got ETN, right? You got some expiring contracts at tight end, including Johnny Munt, who's not expiring. But if you say goodbye to him, you'd free up $2 million. I mean, we don't spend a lot of time really pounding the table on someone like Johnny Munt. But where is he in the scheme of things when all of a sudden now you look at your tight end room? You follow what I'm trying to say here? Obviously, Diami Brown's going to leave as a wide receiver. Every single defensive group, there's a question. Edge, linebacker, safety, and corner. All guys who could get up and leave. Maybe outside of safety's got Dewey. I don't think he returns. Cornerbacks, Greg Newsome. I don't think he returns. Cornerbacks, Buster Brown. I'm absolutely re-signing him. Linebackers, Devin Lloyd. Nope. I don't think they can afford to re-sign him. What are they going to do with Aloakon? Is that a restructured deal? I'd be surprised if they flat out cut him. I would. But this team a year ago ate over $40 million by saying goodbye to Evan Ingram, goodbye to Brenton Strange, goodbye to Christian Kirk. Goodbye. They got nothing. And it was over $40 million of dead cap money. So I don't think that is what is going to happen here with Foyer. But maybe they're really high on Ventrell Miller, even though he plays the Devin Lloyd position. He may battle that out with Lloyd gone. It's tough to imagine both Lloyd and Aloakon gone, right? But they do like Ventrell Miller. They do like Jack Kaiser. Okay. My guess is that they restructure the deal of Foyer Oluokun. They got some decisions to make in the interior. What are you going to get for Mason Smith? I think now it's fair to ask the question, does Mason Smith love football? Is Mason Smith not the best guy under the current situation to be a part of the building, to be a part of the Miller Electric Center? I don't know that. I haven't heard it. But he's been dead weight. He did not do anything. I mean, this team would be better off trying to move him. Probably not going to get anything for him. And re-signing, a role player like Austin Johnson, who played a lot of snaps. Matt Dickerson played a lot of snaps. Danny Strigow, an undrafted free agent, played a lot of snaps. They need much more from the interior defensive line. And they're going to need another edge. Do you put it all into Danny Gardeck, who can do a lot of things for you, but basically ended up being your third edge? You didn't get it out of Dewan Smoot. You didn't get it out of Emmanuel Ogba. Two other guys that will not return to this football team. So, all right, let's do this. Let's bring in John Osher. Let's get Osher's opinion on what he got from today's press conference. And then let's get back to you. I did bring up a couple of questions that I've been asked, but there's a ton of them that are coming in, and as always, they're good. So go ahead right now, 1010 XL into the night. You can join us there on YouTube. You can also go to our text line, which is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Bone crunching, field flipping, game-changing plays. After the game, catch the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Happy New Year from Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It is 2026. Is this what you've been waiting for? Is the time now for you to drop the weight with Awaken 180 Weight Loss? Look, the time was right for me. I had to do something. I remember looking at myself in the mirror, just couldn't believe it, man. I was going down a bad path. Found out about the great folks of Awaken 180 Weight Loss, started talking with a coach, and instantly I knew that is exactly what I needed. Awaken 180 changed my life. I lost over 100 pounds. Guys, take it from somebody that lost triple digits on this program. It worked for me. It will work for you. No shots, no pills. You do it the natural way with the terrific coaching of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call 844-346-1800 or go to Awaken180weightloss.com and do what I did with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass, still family-owned and in business for 100 years. When they say you're going to see a big difference, that's for everything. Custom showers and spas, tabletops, mirrors, even replacing foggy windows, all at a more affordable price. And with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed, Lee and Kate's Glass is your best choice. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it's Rick Ballou. We got a fresh shipment of hard-to-find ProMaster vans, perfect for Section 179. My buddy Tommy and his team are committed to the community and make the process simple. Upfits, delivery, everything handled right. If you need ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, you need Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. June 11th at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena with special guest Alan Stone. Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. On sale Friday 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Former Jags middle linebacker Tom McManus brings up grit to the ladies of helmets and heels.
You do it as tough as it is possible to do.
Tommy, Lauren, and Taylor.
Backed by Green Law Group. Afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjax.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The best wings in town are coming to River City Marketplace. Leon Searcy here. Wingstop is opening another North Jacksonville location soon at the end of December. You always get fresh, made-to-order wings in 11 flavors, including original, hot, garlic parm, and of course, lemon pepper. Wingstop now has 18 locations in Jacksonville, always open until 1 a.m. So skip the wait and order your wings online at wingstop.com and swing by to pick up at the brand new Wingstop location in River City Marketplace.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
Hey, David again here with Royal Pest Services. It's that time of year when rodents start making their way into our homes. Layson, tell them what they need to get in.
A quarter-size hole.
That's right. That's all they need. Hey, tell them where to go for a free attic and exterior inspection.
Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Hey, Hickett here for Prize Picks. This week, a special max discount promotion live on the board right now. Caleb Williams has been discounted. He only needs to go for more than a half a pass yard during the Bears-Packers game Saturday. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your pick hits, man, you cash in. Download that Prize Picks app today. Use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
We're having trouble. We are locating John Osher. That's all right. We'll adapt. We'll make some adjustments. We'll bring in another safety. We'll go with a 3 safety look. I have the ability to flap my gums. And hopefully it provides just a tiny bit of knowledge, dare I say, even entertainment for our listeners. Let's play one more from James Gladstone, since I admire the young man. He's got that zen. You know, he's got a little bit of who do I want to say? He almost, sometimes the way he talks, and Bono does it musically speaking, but every time I hear Bono talk, he throws out a word or something that I'm like, what did he just say? And Gladstone kind of gives me that. He does. It's totally refreshing. And he's also very good at making a long-winded point, and it doesn't necessarily say what the question was or answers the question. But it's creative, and it was certainly night and day from what we witnessed a year ago. All right, we have him. Let's go to John Osher.
It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Osher. Oh No's. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, John Osher is with us, senior writer, Jaguars.com, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Hello, John.
Rick, how are you?
Man, I'm doing okay. I am. What a year, and what a difference a year makes between today's press conference and, the Zoom a year ago with Trent Baalke and Shad Khan.
Yeah, it's different. I think anybody who follows it, while disappointed with the end of the season, obviously because you want to, it's such a fun thing to keep going, you can feel the difference. I mean, every time Gladstone speaks, I heard you talking a second ago, you were leading me in. Every time he speaks, you sort of have a new appreciation for his intelligence, the way he thinks. I'm with you. Sometimes during the pressers, he's going to say what he wants to say in his unique way. Maybe once in a while it loses people, but if you listen, you hear the process, you hear how intelligent, what a good communicator he is. Look, I thought when these three guys took over last February, you had a good feeling it was going to eventually show how good it was, and it showed really quick. And I remain as optimistic about this franchise as I've been in years and years and years.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And, in my opinion, before we get to what was said today, outside of the confidence that I believe Trevor Lawrence is going to take with him to the offseason, I think the number one aspect of what we saw with this new organization, with this new brass, is they developed players. They took current players and made them better, from Cole Van Lannon to Parker to Antonio Johnson to Buster Brown. And I think that would be comforting to Jaguars fans to think that there are guys on the current roster that the exact same thing is going to happen once they get an opportunity.
Well, they commit to it, and they put their money where their mouth is on that kind of thing, meaning, we all saw Parker during OTAs and training camp looking like, hey, this guy's like making plays. They had guys they had signed. They had De'Ami Brown. They had other players, and they said, you know what, this kid is playing. We're not going to ignore that. Monteric Brown, same thing. Multiple players. They didn't even going back to last March, when they first came in, they didn't know what Travis Etienne was.
Mm-hmm.
There was all the talk about maybe trading him, and all of a sudden, very quickly, April and May, you started hearing, hey, we see this kid. Like, we're impressed with what he brings. And they allowed Travis Etienne to become the main back because he earned it.
Mm-hmm.
They let players develop. Yes, they're being coached well. Yes, they're being used correctly. But they also allow these guys, I guess it goes back to the intangibly rich thing. Be yourself, be productive, and you're going to play. All of that is real. Maybe it sounds a little cliche-ish, but, I don't know how else you can prove it other than by it playing out to 13-4 with a lot of young players development. And I think that bodes well for the rookie class from 2025.
All right, I have a couple of questions about today's press conference, but let me ask you straight up. What was the one thing, perhaps the most important thing, or something that you got out of today's press conference that you maybe didn't expect going in?
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I was struck by the just overriding, hey, we're not going to let 13-4 be our ceiling. That I guess you expect to hear him say that. I can tell you that's been the message even since before this season ended.
Mm-hmm.
Was, hey, we're going to continue to work this roster. We don't think we're close to being there yet. 13-4, big deal. We need to be as good as we can possibly be. So they're going to be aggressive. I think free agency, they're still going to have their foot on the gas. The fact that Travis Hunter's still going to play offense, defense, I think we expected it, but you heard it. I was encouraged by what I heard about the guys, Trayvon, Brenton Strange, Parker Washington. I thought it was really pointed that they want these guys to be a part of the organization. And so those were some of the things that I think stood out. I don't know if anything shocked me, but those were sort of some of the high points of, okay, well, I guess I expected it, and there's some stuff that was cool to hear because I expected it.
Yeah, it's John Ogier, I guess, senior writer of Jaguars.com, joining us here on the home of the Jags, 92.5 FM. It's going to be really hard to re-sign all of these players. Then you get to ETN, you get to Lloyd, you get to Anton Harrison coming up in a year. It just goes on and on and on. So that in itself is going to be really intriguing. I think their biggest need, and this is really interesting considering they led the league in rushing defense, but the last 5 games, that interior defensive line, only 12 pressures and 0 sacks. Where do you put the interior defensive line as far as what they must fix this offseason?
I think pretty high. Devon Hamilton, nose tackle, played at a high level. Armstead, I thought gave them some push early. I haven't really watched it. I don't want to sit here and say he didn't provide it late because I haven't watched it for that. But they didn't get enough inside, and even if they're high on Armstead, you can't just have 2 defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm.
The old cliche is a cliche for a reason. You've got to be 7, 8, 9 guys deep on the defensive line. I think they really focused last year on building the offensive line, building the offense. They wanted to be good there. They're never going to say they're set, but you feel really good about the core offensively. I think all over the defense, they will be aggressive. I think they'll look different in some capacity on every level. And so I think there will be a lot of focus on getting better in key areas defensively.
James Gladstone pointed out today that everyone who played for them on the offensive line this year, their contract is intact. No expiring contracts. Well, you just gave a ton of money to Cole Van Lannon. Yeah, he's got to be in your starting five. Wyatt Milam, I think, is a guy that will be a lot of fun to watch during camp. And can he win a job? Walker Little's gotten pounded by some Jaguar fans, yet he's still making a whole heck of a lot of money. What do you believe is going to end up happening there on that OL?
Well, I think they'll draft. My sense is they will always draft top 3 or 4 rounds on the offensive line when they can. I think that's going to remain a priority. It wouldn't surprise me if Milam emerged as a starter with Macari as sort of that Cole Van Lannon role, meaning not left tackle, but meaning a guy who can start all along the offensive line. Walker Little, I think they're fine with him as a swing tackle. I don't know exactly what the future looks like for him beyond that. But I think that's how the structure could look. But I think they started this year doing something that I think is smart. Milam and Monheim, they like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a good offensive line without having those guys be a factor. Ideally, you want to be drafting offensive linemen that don't start the first year because it's a position where your body needs to develop. You need men there, not boys. I think they took a step toward that without us maybe realizing it. I think you'll see Monheim and Milam start eventually, and I think you'll see them draft somebody in the off season with the idea that he can be that guy too. Maybe take Ezra's place down the road, or I think they will be trying to draft for 2 years out on the offensive line going forward.
All right, is this foolish or could it happen? Cole Van Lannon, your starting right tackle. Anton Harrison moves to left tackle.
Yeah, I think that'll be considered. I'd be surprised if it's not considered. I don't know that. I haven't talked to the people making that decision. I doubt the people making that decision know what that will look like yet.
Right.
But I'd be surprised if it's not considered. All you ever heard about Anton was that he had left tackle ability. That would make sense. I think they didn't want to do that this year because Anton's playing it at a fine level. And then it sort of opened up where you could do that with Walker Little when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I think, to me, those two are clearly the tackles. It's just which side of the ball they're on.
All right, let's leave us with this. I'm under the impression now that Devin Lloyd is outpriced this football team. More than $20 million. I've seen that on Spot Track. So, unfortunately, I think he's gone. Your opinion there. And with Travis Etienne, as much as the players and agents hate it, what do you think the chances are that he gets a franchise tag?
Could be franchise, could be transition for Travis. Yeah, I think it's a real possibility. I wouldn't necessarily rule out them transitioning Travis and then trying to figure something out that makes sense for a 2 or 3 year deal. Because all players on their getaway day, all players say they want to be here. I do sense Travis wants to be here. He's also a smart guy that knows that it's a good thing to be able to play out your whole contract. Sometimes when you sign free agency elsewhere, you get there and you don't fit. Fit can be very important to a long NFL career, which I think Travis wants. It's got to make sense financially, but I hope it works for him to stay here long term. I don't know enough about the details to know if it'll happen. Devin, I'm with you. I just don't see how it works. And I think, look, he had a great year, but inside linebacker or off the ball linebacker, boy, you better really, really get greatness long term to pay that position big money. It's just not premium.
Yeah. I agree with that. I was actually talking to Hackett about this yesterday.
And I love Devin Lloyd, by the way.
Oh, everyone does.
Love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're building a roster for the long term, when they talk about tough decisions, that falls into that category.
Yeah, I actually talking about Les Snead a little bit, who never really overpaid for linebackers. He overpaid for some positions, but not linebackers. And again, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, James Gladstone learned under him, but I'm sure he has absolutely his own way of addressing this. Hey, make sure. Go ahead.
But that's what he learned, and
Yep.
it's a good indicator.
Yep,
Thanks,
no doubt
Rick.
about it. Hey, John, have fun. Thank you. There he goes. John Osher, ladies
All right,
and
buddy.
gentlemen. Make sure you read him. There is no off season, right? Not for us here, and certainly not for John at Jaguars.com. So they really like ETN. He's a good man in the building. He's a good football player. I haven't really spent a lot of time, thankfully, on free agency yet for obvious reasons. The Jaguars were still playing. I also don't really see a situation this year where Jacksonville is going to be a big-time player in free agency. They may add some guys, maybe one starter, okay, perhaps defensive tackle, and that's really it. Maybe a third corner. You know, if they don't bring back Buster, which I would do, but there are some running backs who are going to be available this year. It's not a it's a pretty formidable lineup as far as running back free agents, and again, you can find backs. Isn't that the one position in the draft that you can find? John Osher talked about drafting an offensive lineman again, and I said that at the beginning of the show. You have to continuously draft an offensive lineman. That is such a hit or miss position group. It really is. It seems like when you find running backs, it doesn't matter what round, they end up being very productive for you. I mean, they may try to do whatever it takes to bring back Travis Etienne. The other side of it may be, let's see what Bashal Tutin can do with 250 carries. Let's see what Quint Allen Jr. can do with some carries. And, they still have Jackson on the practice squad, and they would absolutely address that either during the draft or, a veteran and free agency. And I'm not talking about a day one free agency signing. I'm talking about let the market settle, let some time pass by, and then you can go ahead and do it that way. I guess what I'm getting at, I really trust the evaluation process of James Gladstone. And you didn't get anything from the top half of your draft class. Consider that. I mean, Hunter went out. Caleb Ransaw never took a snap. And then, Chutin, when asked, was outstanding. Milam, when asked, did his job. And then you're talking about later guys who contributed, like Allen. But, I mean, if you look at that overall draft class, you're like, are you kidding me? I mean, what could it possibly be like next year if, in fact, you do have, from that draft class, starting in year 2, Hunter, Ransaw, Milam, Chutin, and then getting a ton of contributions from Allen Jr. I mean, that's pretty impressive. No doubt. Okay, let's continue with your calls, or excuse me, your questions. 641-1010. That is the best way to join us on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, as well as on YouTube tonight. Go to 1010XL into the night.
4th down and 11, game on the line.
11 guys line up, but only one will end up the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
And there he goes.
On 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Start your new year off healthy. Get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 14th, 1951,
The NFL held its very first Pro Bowl in the LA Coliseum, where Otto Graham was named the MVP.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyoublow.com.
Discover the fun and freedom of boating. Don't miss the Jacksonville Boat Show, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Presented by VyStar Credit Union. Tickets at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com.
PRI Productions is the official game day production partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, I'm Randy Goodwin, president and owner of PRI Productions. Chances are, if you've been in Jacksonville over the last 30 years, you've seen our work, from corporate and social events to concert production and much more. We have the equipment and expertise to make your next event memorable. So call the experts at the Jaguars Call. PRI Productions, bringing your ideas to life.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hi, Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Any good lineup needs power. When we needed power at the Bragan Baseball Complex and all the fields we have at Fort Family Park, we trusted Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. Call my friend Zach today at 904-320-5960. You can also find them on Facebook and at rickettselectric.com. Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 904-320-5960.
It's a new year, and Aleve is here to help you keep your New Year's resolutions on track. Whether it's a daily walk, hitting the gym, or spending more time with friends and family, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you moving with long-lasting body pain relief so you can chase those dreams and achieve your goals. Don't let body pain slow you down. Keep going with Aleve, because this year is your year. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
All right, just to go look at the draft class again from a year ago. This is incredible. I mean, every single one of these players could be absolutely, massively involved in a year. Travis Hunter, no doubt. Caleb Ransaw could be a starting safety. I don't think they bring back Dewey, right? You have at least one more year, I would assume, with Eric Murray. And you're coming up on a contract year for Antonio Johnson. Wyatt Milam really got his feet wet there at the end of the year. I mean, heck, he played left guard and right guard Sunday, if you didn't notice. Talked plenty about Bashal Tootin. He's ready to explode, and frankly, he should have gotten the football more on Sunday. Jack Kaiser, 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame. Okay? They love him. Again, Devin Lloyd out. Is that a battle between Kaiser and Ventrell Miller to win that job? Or do they address linebacker in the offseason? Could happen. Jalen McLeod, saw nothing from him. He was like Caleb Ransaw. Got nothing from the 6th-round pick out of Auburn. Ray Lane, very good special teams player. Got a taste at safety. But who knows? Another year. I mean, look at how players have developed here. I'm not going to count out Ray Lane. Jonah Monheim, we just spoke on him. I absolutely think Hainsey gets one more year at center. But what if, and I'd have to look at his contract and stuff like that. Typically, you bring in a free agent for length, for a number of years. You don't say goodbye to him after just 1 year. That's going to hurt you with dead cap money. And then, with Coen Allen Jr. I mean, what a solid draft class. And so many of those is like a what if. How much are they going to be a part of things? How much are they going to improve? That's very encouraging. Ballou, I thought, 0650, I thought Hainsey was a 3-year starter at right tackle for Notre Dame. Move him over, thanks. No, he's always been considered a center in college. The shorter arms. He was in Tampa, and he is here. 31-44, Ballou. Trayvon Walker played at 290 pounds as a defensive tackle as a freshman and sophomore. He won't want to make that switch full-time, but I think he'd be crazy good inside, where his freakish athleticism. I love the way that you're thinking. However, then you have to address arguably the second most expensive position on the football field that's not a quarterback. Where are you going to find an edge? Ryan O'Halloran wrote today about making a deal for Max Crosby. Okay. I love it. What's it going to cost you? You don't have a first-round pick. Who right now on the bargaining table, if you're trying to tell me you're going to trade Walker Little for Max Crosby, then I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, let's sign up. Maybe Tom Brady, wants to make that move with John Spytek, the general manager. I'm kidding here, obviously. I just don't know where you're going to go find an edge. At least this organization tried. Unlike Trent Baalke, who was very stubborn, they brought back Smoot. They brought in Emmanuel Ogbah. Just didn't work. They brought in Danny Gardeck. Trayvon inside, he's going to get paid like an outside guy. Ballou, 76-52. If Camp goes, first call, Mike Tomlin. Be very surprised if Mike Tomlin would work under anyone as a defensive coordinator. I think it's pretty simple for Mike Tomlin. He can probably pick his job with the 9 vacancies. And if he doesn't want to do that, go ahead and be a broadcaster for a year. I mean, speaking of a year, how about Ty Simpson apparently being offered $6.5 million? Why would he go, even if he is a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, for $6.5 million with that status in Miami with those ladies for 1 year? What if he gets drafted by Cleveland? What if he gets drafted by Green Bay? He's not going to get drafted, but you know what I'm talking about. What if he goes to some awful place in our country? At least you get to spend a year in South Beach.
Yeah, and the game has changed so much. It used to be, you get rid of your first year contract and get that second contract so you can get paid and hopefully you get that pension. Now it's, if you can get paid more than $10 million in college, that's life changing.
Wow, $6.5 million. And you throw into Tony. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's absolutely a no-brainer. But I don't know. For all I know, he could have a girlfriend, a long-term girlfriend. He's ready for the NFL. Again, I still can't figure out why people give up, their second semester in high school, their final semester in high school. Why they're so early to get to college. That's never been able to register.
You've seen there's a Florida State and a Syracuse basketball player. I think they're going to play basketball and football. They one was from Miami, or they're both from Miami, from Chaminade and Northwestern. They're playing basketball. They just got to the team like last week, and they're going to play football in the spring.
Wow. 60-84, Ballou. Cornerbacks made no plays against Buffalo. Eric Armstead, no impact plays. The pass rush was almost non-existent for most of the game. Okay, check, and check. No PBUs for the defensive backs. Buffalo had 9, including the 2 picks. Armstead wasn't the same player since the injury. We went over it a little bit earlier in the program. You look at Eric Armstead. He had 12 pressures in his last 5 games, and he had 0 sacks. So his production absolutely went down. Yeah, he didn't have 12 pressures, excuse me. The defensive line had 12 pressures. Interior defensive line. So it wasn't good. He wasn't the same. And I believe he had a really attractive incentive there that would have paid him like $1 million if he could have gotten 2 more sacks. He didn't. Jags can be elite with Hunter and his ball skills, playmaking abilities with some help at pass rush. Trey Hendrickson is from Florida, and Walker could play more snaps inside. Again, yes, but how do you afford it? I mean, according to Spot Track, they're $13.8 million right now over the salary cap. And according to Spot Track right now, they are $43,863,000 into dead cap money, which means nothing to us outside of the fact that it does apply against the overall salary cap for 2026. That's what hurts you with dead cap money. It's not that it's liquid and you're paying these guys, to go away. It's that it runs up against your cap. Yeah, everything runs against your cap. Your roster, your practice squad, your players on injured reserve, and your players who are no longer here, who are under the dead money. If I said dead cap, that was wrong. It's dead money. May have made a mistake there. Not sure. May have not. Do we got to take a break? We do. We got to take a break. For crying out loud, where is the time gone? Yeah. I'm having so much fun. I love answering your questions. It is just a treat. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. And as well, join us on YouTube. Go to 1010XL into the night.
The Gator Boys are back and ready to defend their national title.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
This is Gator Country. Your home for Gators hoops is 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you've been in an auto accident, you can count on the experts at San Jose Collision to return your vehicle to pre-accident conditions. San Jose Collision can also provide a fresh paint job to freshen up your vehicle or completely change its appearance. They can paint and repair all foreign and domestic cars and trucks. When quality and professionalism are important to you, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding. So easy to use, depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Coen floral arrangement. ET here with Tintin XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at CoenFlowers.com.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, today was the season-ending getaway press conference. General Manager James Gladstone, head coach Liam Coen did meet with the local media. A ton came out of it today, including Travis Hunter still going to work on both sides of the football. Brian Thomas Jr. still a big part of this plan. The offensive line, no expiring contracts. I think there's no clear-cut number one wide receiver, necessarily speaking, according to Gladstone, which is really good. And it just went on and on and on. The rehab is where it's supposed to be with Travis Hunter and Caleb Ransaw. Also, Anthony Campanile is going to interview for the job in Miami. The general manager now with the Dolphins is John Eric Sullivan, formerly in Green Bay. And, of course, that's where Campanile was one season ago. Blue Crab House. No place I'd rather be. But if I was somewhere else, wouldn't be tropical, wouldn't be out on a beach, let's say in Honolulu, wouldn't be on a golf course. Let's say I'm right now, Pebble Beach, right? It's only 4:30 there. It's the Blue Crab House. $1 steamed oysters until 9 o'clock on this Wednesday night. Jewington Creek Road, right off of San Jose. 0981 Blue, in all your years of doing this, have you ever heard anyone talk like James Gladstone? Does it feel thought out and refreshing, or is it just word salad? Absolutely love it. I think he's got zen, and it's almost unlike anything I've ever heard in football. I was just trying to think about football people. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about coaches, front office executives, and who really sticks out that I enjoyed. I tell you who I used to really, really like to talk to. I thought his way of describing things were very articulate, considering coaches are basically meat and potatoes. But that's Brian Billick. I used to talk with Brian a great deal when I was in Chicago, and he was in Baltimore. But I don't even know what to do here with Gladstone. I mean, I don't even know if he's adopted someone else's style. I think it's his own style. He's got a tiny bit of Phil Jackson in him. You know, I think I love to say that, well, that'd be unfair to say Hunter S. Thompson because that's gonzo journalism. It's a whole new way of believability. You know, Hunter S. Thompson was so messed up all the time where he'd get up the next morning and say, did I do that or did I dream that? But he took you to places that other writers did not, other authors did not. And he lived, you know, he apparently lived those experiences, right? With the Mitchell brothers, the first ever gentlemen's club that had live you-know-what shows. Hunter S. Thompson threw himself into the middle of that, right? The Hells Angels, traveling with them for quite some time. You know, the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But his wording was special. I'm not comparing Gladstone to the knuckleheadness of what Hunter S. Thompson did. I'm talking about him as a wordsmith. That makes any sense. Love it. I mean, I can't get enough. I wish you spoke more. I asked him last year, was he going to speak more because Trent Baalke hated to speak. Trent Baalke hated to do everything, right? Trent Baalke hates the media. You know, it was painful to have to talk to him. It's not with Gladstone. It's actually very refreshing. 84-46 Ballou. Trevor is ruffling the ball downfield now. We can be sure of a spotlight backfield next year. As a close call, ETN still has his quicks and burst, certainly. You know, I've said all along I wouldn't bring him back. And I always paraphrase that by saying because he's outpriced the position. I also always thought that Devin Lloyd would return. Well, I'm convinced now that Lloyd is not coming back. They can't afford that. I think the question now does become, are you willing to overpay a little bit for Travis Etienne? I keep getting from Jaguars fans hometown discount, incentive laden. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You're going to have to pay him. And it is what it is. He's got someone working for him who is going to do that. It's the same thing with all these Trayvon Walker questions that I get. They're great questions. But you keep saying, move him inside and go get another edge. Well, look at the amount of money that edge guys have earned. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson's making $45 million a year. You know the agency of Trayvon Walker, and you can sit there and say, well, he's not Aiden Hutchinson. He doesn't get the sacks like Max Crosby or Hendrickson or Watt, or certainly no one comes close to Myles Garrett. And you just go on and on and on and mention all these edges, right? He's going to make more than Josh Hines-Allen. Josh Hines-Allen had his deal done 2 years ago. It's the going rate. And, you know, that's why arbitration is so brutal. You see what's going on right now in Major League Baseball for those who follow it. Imagine being open about being an organization and saying, well, you're asking for this, we're asking for that. And then you're going to meet somewhere in the middle. If not, the arbiter is going to pick a side. Can you imagine making a case in front of a lawyer about why a player that you so heavily desire shouldn't make money, pointing out reasons why? I mean, whether it's innings pitched, whether it's whip, I don't know what, comparing it to other pitchers. I have no idea how contract negotiations work in the NFL. But the agency for ETN is going to ask for top dollar. The agency for Trayvon Walker is going to look at the amount of money these pass rush ends have made. And that's going to be the starting point. And how do you address that, Dylan, if you're a general manager like James Gladstone and you say, you know what? We love Trayvon Walker. He's a big part of this thing that we're building, but we can't pay him close to what Hutchinson is making.
Yeah, and it's if you do, you have to squeeze somebody else. The Niners had this issue a couple of years ago where they started to pay a lot of their best players, and then a couple of the guys that started paying top dollar for, they had to cut, and that was why they had to get rid of Eric Armstead, and that was why he came here. So it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, if we're going to go in, we've already paid Josh Hines Allen, we've already paid Trevor, Jacoby Myers, Cole Van Landen. You're going to get, a couple more this offseason, you would think. Okay, now we're going to have to rely more on the draft, and it's not going to be free agency to fill in, because in free agency, whoever you get, you're going to have to overpay for them.
It's very difficult. And, I say this all the time, and San Francisco is another example. One of the best definitions of success in a franchise is not being able to afford all of the players that you have drafted. And that's going to happen here for the Jags. I will credit Trent Baalke. He did draft some good players. Now, a lot of those players were lost under the former regime as far as coaching. And this regime has gotten the best out of them. And some are still going to improve. Like, for instance, Parker Washington, Buster Brown, Antonio Johnson. I want to believe their best football is still ahead. Cole Van Landen. And I'm not even talking about the rookies here. I was talking about guys that were on the roster. Let's see this here. 1549 Ballou. I bet the Cats would have beaten the Bills if Travis Hunter was in the secondary. That's a fair point. Would they have beaten him if Cole Van Landen was at left tackle? Look at that final play. Bosa came from the left side. His right side, Jacksonville's left side. If he had an extra half second, do you find Parker Washington?
Someone else's name that didn't get mentioned this week that was missed a lot probably was Jordan Lewis in the secondary.
No doubt. Well, that's why I don't think corners is as big of a problem as a lot of people say. You bring back Lewis for at least one more year, and he literally was like a coach on the field. I mean, you look at what Lewis brought to the defense with his leadership and what Jacoby Myers' midseason trade brought to this team with his leadership, and it's absolutely overwhelming, okay? I would be shocked if Jacoby Myers is not your captain next year, offensively speaking. He has to be. And Lewis and Hainsey both got voted in as free agents. That doesn't happen a lot. Unfortunately, that speaks of the lack of leadership that was part of the team before they got here. So that's going to be, that's going to be incredible when you look at that. So many things that have to be done right now with this football team, and will get done. It's going to be really a lot of fun to watch it. I got to say. Last year at this time, there was such a great unknown. Trent Baalke was still your GM. And they waited 16 days to fire him. And they built this thing unlike anything I've ever seen that was built. They did it backwards. And guess what? It worked. It absolutely worked. Pacelli was huge. He's one of you, okay? I mean, I've known Tony forever. On the Ball, I did the Tony Pacelli show. I worked with him directly for 8 years when I was a sideline reporter, and he was I just pulled I don't know what I did. Can you still hear me? I just pulled my mic out or my headset out. So anyway, we got to take a break anyway. But those 8 years that I worked with Tony, his son was playing at Florida State. We'd be on the road. We would go to a lot of Florida State bars. And Tony's wrapped up into this. Very emotional. We talked about everything that was the Jaguars. So you got the right guy in. A guy who just didn't take a job. Okay? Liam Coen got a job. James Gladstone got a job. Tony Pacelli is different, that he's been a Jaguar fan since he was 21 years of age. So they put it together, and it's worked. And, again, I think these offseason moves are going to be a blast to sit back and watch what this team does.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Bernardino Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Bernardino Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
All right, Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, Pro Masters, and custom upfits ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
Florida doesn't ease into the heat. It comes fast and it comes hard. And if your AC barely survived last summer, you're already on borrowed time. That's why Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning wants you to start the year off strong with a new AC system. Make the smart move before summer hits. Right now, get their lowest price of the year, $1,000 off a new AC system when you install by February 28th. Call now to schedule your free estimate and get ahead of the season. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ready to race Jacksonville? Indoor racing anytime at K1 Speed. Fast electric karts, real competition, and family fun. Buy 2 races, get 1 free every Tuesday. Cruise over to K1 Speed Jacksonville today. Your top destination for indoor racing.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, I'm off to the airport. The GF coming back into town. It's a good thing because it is getting cold. outside?
I'll be out there on Saturday. Heidi's up near your neck of the woods, New Hampshire.
My mom from Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah, so she's up there in Manchester, I believe, is where
yeah.
she's at. So she comes back on Saturday, an hour before kickoff of Denver Buffalo. So it works out pretty well.
All right. I imagine you're going to have a ton on what you saw today with both James Gladstone and Liam Coen.
Yeah, a lot of reaction to the press conference, certainly. Got a lot of thoughts about what was said, some of the things that were not said. I know I haven't talked to you since I had Mike Giannetti, a spot track, on last night. $20 million for Devin Lloyd is what he told me. Devin Lloyd's as good as gone.
Yep.
Earned the money, but there's just no way Jackson was going to be able to do that. So I think Jaguar fans need to start wrapping their minds around the fact that Devin Lloyd is probably not going to be here in 2026.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Totally agree with that. $20.1 million. They just can't afford that. The question now is, what do they do with ETN? You and I talked about that last night off air. I think the position is not worth the money, not the player. But he did score a lot of touchdowns, and I tell you what, he also improved dramatically in his pass protection this year.
He did, and I just don't know if we saw enough of Tootin and certainly LaQuint Allen Jr. to feel comfortable about that. I hope ETN is back. To me, if out of Newsome, Brown, ETN, and Lloyd, if you can keep 2 of the 4, which is the hope, my hope would be Monteric Brown and Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Greg Newsome
he's
didn't
gone.
work out.
He's
I think Lloyd's probably gone, but I really hope they keep Etienne and Buster Brown.
Yeah, for me, Buster Brown is number 1, and I know ETN has a ton of fans. And I admire the young guy. There's no doubt about it. But I've given my opinion. We shall see. And then I think it's a chance to bring back some role players. You know, Dennis Gardeck, Austin Johnson.
There's a lot of those guys. DeJuan Smoot, Tim Patrick, a lot of those guys that signed 1-year deals here. And Dewey Wingard's another one. Will he be back?
Double up on Diami Brown. Give him another $10 million.
Yeah, that probably won't happen.
Man, the amount of airtime that I wasted on him in the month of July and August, not everything works out, okay? We know that for sure. All right, what else tonight?
Yeah, Leon Searcy is going to join me, get his thoughts on the season. The coach, Mark Duffner, as well. But again, a lot of reaction to what Gladstone and Coen said today. We're with you till 10 o'clock tonight.
All right, Hacker, have a fun show.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Enjoyed it as always. I always enjoy getting with you folks. Are you kidding me? I mean, what a pleasure this is. I say that in all sincerity. No embellishment, no fibbing, no straight out lying. Maybe a little bit of Zen, not even, man. That's straight truth, homie. That's going to do it. Thank you to John Osher. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. You got 2 shows left, Dylan.
Not count down the days.
I got the Dancing Girls coming in on Friday night. Who's providing the booze? Dylan Denmark is leaving us, heading off towards the sunset. That'll do it. I'm Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow at 6.